Stangibelisco, W1GV Whiskey 1 Golf Victor here from the Noid Cave, where my ham radio transceiver is tuned to the 14 megahertz band. There's the weather satellite imagery. Current right now. We're having a snow event over South Dakota right now, or over the Black Hills of South Dakota, which, if you look on this map, you'll recognize South Dakota. Southwestern or western part of the state doesn't look like much on there, does it? Well, that non-event, about 6 inches worth of snow so far. There's where the stars would be in the sky if it were nighttime and if there weren't clouds obscuring the sky. There's an artist's rendition of a neutrino. A neutrino, one of those particles that goes through everything, the artist being yours truly. And there is the venerable SWR and power meter, which tells me that my antenna on 20 meters has an SWR of 1.2 or 1.25 to 1. There's the frequency, 14.06988. That's what I tune to for phase shift keying, which is what those weird noises are that you hear, courtesy of this amplifier. Big speakers, the works. There's the telescope that I would use to look at those stars if it were nighttime and if there weren't any clouds and if there weren't about 2 feet of snow on the deck, which I will now show you. The reason I'm going to show you this is so that you can look particularly at the base of my antenna. There's the deck with the snow, not quite 2 feet. Out by where the antenna is, there you see the base of the antenna. You see that aluminum rod right there? Goes up, up, and up, and up, and up, and up, and up. About 22 feet high, I believe. Capacitively loaded, and the capacitor, where the loading is under the snow, as is the lower foot or so of the antenna's base. Now, when there isn't any snow at the base of that antenna, the standing wave ratio is just the same, about 1.2, 1.25 or so, back down into the Noid Cave. And outside, where I will show you how there's some lights in the hallways. You know you gotta have lights in your hallways. There's LED lights in the hallways, just bright enough so that I don't stumble around in the dark. Now you can't see anything because it's too dark. Now we go outside into the woodshed where some fuel remains for cold nights or stormy nights when the power fails or the furnace can't keep up. Now right here is a BNC adapter to my coaxial cable. I can just unscrew that when I don't want to use the antenna. BNC connectors, very, very easy to connect and disconnect. Of course, it's connected now. No danger of lightning now. I don't dare go out very far here because all of that dripping, I don't want that coming down on this iPad. You can see what happens underneath my deck. Well, it'll drip down there onto the driveway and freeze. It's a little too cold right now, though, for it to drip that much. There, we got water on the screen of the iPad, at least not on the lens, so it isn't going to affect what you see. Underneath the deck, radial wires for the antenna. There's one of them. That thing tied up there. That conduit there is no longer in use. That was a piece of manufactured homebrew hardline that used to go out to the antenna. There's a view of, kind of a view of Leeds, South Dakota that you get from this house. A lot of radials under that deck. You can't really see them very well, but they do a good job. The knob which leads into the nerd castle. Back into the cave we go, where you can hear plenty of signals. There's my electricity experiments you can do at home. That's a book I wrote, and there's a circuit or a breadboard that goes with it, all set up to do some little experiments with resistors and LED, capacitor discharge experiments, which you may have seen in another video, venerable test meter, little sign to tell me where I'm at in case I forget. Back to the Noid radio station. Now, something interesting. Well, I'm a little mystified as to why the standing wave ratio doesn't change with all that snow right around the base of the antenna. You would think that it would, but the fact that it doesn't suggests to me that the snow, even though I haven't removed it from around the base there, wouldn't have much of an adverse effect on the antenna's performance. It isn't affecting the impedance, so you wouldn't expect that it would cause much of a disturbance. If it was having an effect, well, I don't know what all that data means. There's a waterfall display of phase shift keyed signals. But I'm a little bit mystified. The other thing that mystifies me, you can hear plenty of signals now because it's about 3:30 or 3:45 in the afternoon. Here, February the 14th, 2013, middle of the winter. As soon as the sun goes down, this band is probably going to die. But what's interesting is, last summer, this band was open, this 20-meter band. There's the nerd phone. This 20-meter band was open way, way late into the night. Almost even past midnight sometimes, and some of the stations I was working were down in like Argentina, South America, because the view that I get out of this Noid Castle is not only good visually, it's good for 20-meter low-angle radiation in the ham radio. That is looking southeast, right towards South America. The signal goes over those utility wires. The antenna's above them, mostly. The interesting thing, though, is I would hear signals from Argentina, which is where it would be winter last summer. You know, in July here, it would be like January down there. And they were getting into me just fine in the middle of their nighttime in the middle of the winter. It would be even later in South America than it would be here. So how come I can't get into South America now when it's their summer and it isn't even as late in my nighttime? That mystifies me. Why the propagation would work so well in that direction in the summer but not in the winter. There's some various potions that I consume. There's the olive oil that I use for the pink slime combustion pan. And there's really some pink slime ready for me tomorrow morning. I got a real good choice of slimes. I've got the dark pink slime and the light pink slime. The light pink slime is ground pork. And I know people are going to say, oh my God, you eat that stuff? You betcha. Good stuff. You cook it up real good. Real appetizing to listen to the BBC in the middle of the night. There's the globe. I love that little globe. And of course my home away from home in Paris. Restaurant de la Calonne. There's my apartment up above there. I've told you about that. I sit up there and flick spitballs down at the cool people sitting down there underneath there. You know, they're talking about how all these literary works are so great, and oh, this author and that author, and oh. Oh, but don't you just love Guy de Maupassant? Oh, I like Victor Hugo better. Oh, they were so cool. And then the latter-day science fiction writer, Stan Gibalisco, also known as Francisco Carrera. What's a Spanish guy doing in France, I wonder? Well, anyway, he's up there flicking spitballs down at the cool people. Okay, well, that is my little ham radio ditty. And a couple of little mysteries for you. Why does the snow not affect the standing wave ratio in my antenna? At all. There's another view of it from the office. Goes up and up and up and up and up. Why does the snow not affect it? And why can't I get... Look at that shot I got to South America. Now, how come I can't get in there at night? Going from north to south, but turning around, going the other way in the opposite part of the year, it works just fine. You tell me. Stan Gibalisco, W1GV, Whiskey 1, Golf Victor, signing off. Till next time. 73.